Hello, hello. Welcome back to Crochet Business Chat Podcast, the podcast for crochet product sellers and product designers or pattern designers who are building real intentional businesses that aren't just hobbies with a Venmo account. Real businesses. All right. We are going to be talking today about breaking the rules the right way. And if you don't already know, if you're new here, my name is Pam Grice, Crochetpreneur. And I'm on a mission to help 100,000 makers build financial freedom through crochet. And if that is you, be sure to click like on this video. Let me know you're here. Comment if you're watching live. Comment, stick around, ask questions at the end. If you're watching on replay, let us know you're watching on replay, where you're watching from, and if you have any questions. And be sure to subscribe for more crochet business tips, encouragement, tough love, and all the good things. All right. So I'm super happy to have you here today. We're going to be talking about something I've been thinking about for a while. It may make some people uncomfortable because people like rules. We're going to talk a little bit about why people like rules and why it's okay to break them. All right. So I did create a PowerPoint. As y'all know, I have some issues that make me not want to be on camera. Particularly, I had surgery on my teeth last week, and my face is swollen. You can't really tell, but hopefully that's going to fix some problems. We'll see. But I'm going to share a PowerPoint, and I will talk behind the PowerPoint. So you can just follow along on the PowerPoint. Let me add it to the screen here. Is it easier this way, or do you want to see my face? Whichever one you feel like. I guess we'll do it this way. Good morning, Ginger's here. Happy to see you. Okay, so I'm going to do this. All right. So today we're talking about what happens when you stop doing things because you think you have to and start doing things because you've decided they make sense for your business. So let's get into it. As promised, we're going to talk about why we love rules. So before we get into the shoulds, I want to take a second to acknowledge something that I feel like is really important. So following the rules feels good. And that's not a problem. It doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you're not a leader. It's just human to want some boundaries or some way to know how to be successful, right? When someone tells us, the way to make bread is to do this, this, and that, we feel like, okay, I can have a little bit of confidence that it's going to come out. If I just follow the rules, I'm going to get the results that I'm looking for. And it's the same way in business. So when someone tells you, do it this way and it'll work, there's a sort of immediate sense of relief. And the uncertainty lifts. If you have anxiety about these kinds of things, you start to feel freer. You have a clear path to follow. You know what you need to do tomorrow morning when you sit down at your desk. You just follow the steps, right? So rules feel safe. They reduce overwhelm from all of the options that are out there. They make success feel possible for you. Like if you just follow the steps, you'll get the results. And really, there's another reason, because we love rules, and people don't usually talk about this much, but if it doesn't work, then it's not your fault. And you can blame the person who made the rules, right? It's not my fault. I just did what I was supposed to do and it didn't work. It's not on me, right? You did what you're told. You followed the expert's advice. The blame lands somewhere else. And that just feels safer. So I'm not saying that as a judgy thing or as a bad thing. It's just a normal thing. We're wired to want certainty, especially when we're building something that matters to us and when the stakes feel high. But there's a problem with that. When we outsource all of our decisions to someone else, we also outsource our power. And that's where things start to go sideways. So just think of when people outsource their agency in a Facebook group by saying, how much should I pay? How much should I price this product at? People are always asking that in Facebook groups. chaos starts happening in those groups because everybody wants to grab the power and tell them exactly what to do, right? And then that person follows that, the product doesn't sell, now they get to blame those other people instead of really operating in their power as a CEO, making decisions for themselves, making a decision, analyzing how it worked, and then coming back and changing things if they need to. It's just easier to have someone tell you what to do. You do that. If it works, great. You made a good decision. If it doesn't work, then you can blame someone else. But we're not going to do that anymore. So, let's see. This is the should spiral. If you saw the thumbnail for this video, you saw that it said, stop shoulding on yourself. The should spiral will just take you down a path that is not super helpful. So raise your hand or make a comment in the chat if you've ever caught yourself saying one of these things. All right. I should be posting on Instagram every day. Oh my gosh, I need to go post on Instagram. Oh, I have to do my social media. Those things, all of those things in that little area. I have to offer free patterns if I want to grow my audience. I need to lower my prices or nobody will buy. Everyone says I should be on TikTok, so I guess I need to figure that out. Have you ever heard any of those things? Have you said those things? I have. But here's the thing. None of those statements are inherently wrong, but none of them are inherently right either. The problem isn't the advice itself. The problem is the word should or need to or have to. Should implies that there's one correct way to do this. And in the crochet business world and in the creative business world in general, it's just not true. There's not just one way to do things. We're in an industry full of well-meaning experts, coaches, educators, fellow makers who share what worked for them, and that is genuinely valuable. That's why I do what I do. But somewhere along the way, case studies became commandments, strategies became rules, and a lot of crochet business owners started running their business according to a playbook that was never actually written for them and their specific business. But I really want to be clear about one thing because I am one of those people who teaches strategy, and I want you to hear this directly from me. When experts, including myself, share advice on how to price your patterns, which platforms to use, or how to structure your offers, we're sharing guardrails and case studies, not commandments. Think about it like following a crochet pattern. When you're first learning, you follow every turn, you follow every stitch count, you follow every yarn weight recommendation. You don't deviate from the pattern because you don't know why the instructions are written the way they are. If you want the outcome, you have to follow the pattern, right? But after a while, you start to learn. You start to understand construction, you know why the increases are there, how they serve the shaping of the piece. You know what happens if you go up a hook size or you choose a different yarn weight. You understand how the pieces fit together. And then you can start modifying, adjusting, and even designing your own things from scratch. The pattern was never meant to cage you in. It's meant to teach you and help you learn skills. Business works in the same way. So expert advice is there to get you started, to help you avoid common pitfalls, to give you a framework when you don't have one. But the goal is not for you to follow it forever without question. The goal is for you to learn enough to eventually make your own informed decisions as the CEO of your business. And that word CEO is important because that is what you are. I think a lot of times in the creative world, we see like if we had started a restaurant or if we'd started an accounting firm or if we had started, I don't know, a photography business, we would see that as business. But for us in the world of craft or the world of art, for some reason, the word business is scary. And so we sort of stay in this less than space of, I just had this little crochet business, and we don't treat it like a business. We don't treat ourselves as CEOs. We're like, I have this little shop, you know? So let's talk about what does it actually mean to be the CEO of your crochet business? It comes down to the three things on this slide. First, knowing yourself. What do you value? What lights you up? What do you honestly have capacity for? Because a strategy that works beautifully for someone with 30 hours a week looks completely different for someone with 10, right? Second, knowing your audience. Who are your people? What do they actually need? Your audience might not be on TikTok. They might be on YouTube. They might be on Facebook. You don't know until you know. So finding out where your particular audience lives is going to be really important. And third, making CEO choices. Not what should I do, right? Not asking others what should I do, not asking others what should I price this at, but asking what makes sense here for this business and for these people. That's the shift I want you to make. Once you get there, all the restrictions can come off. So once you understand the rules, you get to decide how to use them. So let's just talk about some of the things we see as rules in our industry and what they might look like when you take control. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Okay. Real examples, starting with one of the biggest debates in the crochet world, free versus paid patterns. You've probably heard both sides. Some people swear by free patterns for growth. You build an audience, you drive traffic, you create email subscribers. And others say free patterns devalue your work and that your time deserves to be compensated from day one. But here's the truth. Both are working business models. Both. Right now, today, the question isn't which is correct. The question is which one fits your goals, your audience, and your capacity. Some designers offer a mix, free patterns with an option to purchase the ad-free printable PDF. Some offer exclusively paid. Some lead with free and sell premium bundles on the back end. All of these strategies work for different people with different audiences and with different goals. There's no wrong answer here. There's only your answer. So figuring out which model works best for you and your audience is going to give you the freedom to choose how you want to do it. And let's talk pricing. Okay, this is a topic that stresses everyone out, right? You hear lots of things. You'll hear price for profit. And yes, you absolutely need to price for profit if you want a sustainable business. That's the goal. But how you get there can look different depending on your business model, your cost of living, your audience, and what you're selling. You'll find makers who price based on their values around accessibility, sustainability, all of that. Some use pay what you can model, and they have real success with that. And some do tiered pricing to serve different customer segments. Pricing for profit is the destination. The route you take to get there is the design. That's yours to design. You get to choose. But before you can price your way, you need to understand, these are the guardrails, you need to understand pricing math, your costs, your time, your overhead, and your profit margin. Then you layer in your values and your audience. You have to understand the fundamentals before you break the rules. So understanding the fundamentals of pricing, how you want to build that into your business, you need to understand those basics, and then you'll add on, okay, well, my value system says I want to be affordable, or I want to be high end, right? You get to add your values and your goals and your audience to your pricing strategy, but you got to know the strategy first. Okay. All right. And the same principle applies to where you sell and how you market. Etsy, Ravelry, your own website, a blog with affiliate revenue, a Substack, a membership. The options are everywhere, and new platforms keep popping up. And here's what's interesting. The best platform is the one that reaches your people, the one you will actually show up on, and that fits your lifestyle. Someone who hates writing a blog shouldn't start a blog just because they heard it's good for SEO. Someone who loves long-form writing and community building, Substack might be a dream. We talk a lot about Instagram and TikTok in the creative business world, and yes, they can be incredibly powerful, but they're not the only way. And Pinterest is still sending massive traffic to pattern designers. And finally, email lists are still one of the highest converting marketing channels in the industry. The best marketing strategy is the one you'll actually do consistently. So again, know the rules you need to market. You need to know where your audience is, and then find the one that works best for you and how you operate, how your audience operates, and what your goals are. All right, and here's what I want to push back on myself a little bit, because I don't want you to walk away from this episode thinking, cool, I can just do whatever I want and ignore all of the things. So that's not what I'm saying. The freedom to run your business your way isn't a starting point, right? So you don't just hop into business and say, I'm just going to do things my way. It really is something you earn through learning, experimenting, and paying attention to your own data. So here's the progression I want you to think about. Step 1 is learn the fundamentals. Absorb the strategies, understand the principles, and this is where the expert advice does its best work. So as you're just learning the fundamentals of running a crochet business, this is where listening to expert advice really helps. Step 2 is experiment in your own business. So try things, track what happens. Your data will tell you more than any expert can. So look at your analytics, see what people engage with, see what people are actually purchasing from you, see where you're actually reaching people. Step 3 is to know yourself. What do you value? What lights you up? What do you have capacity for in your business? Step 4 is to know your audience. Who are they? What do they need? And where do they hang out? And then step 5 is to make CEO decisions. Not what should I do, but what makes sense here for this business and for these people. That is the shift from follower to founder. If you've been stuck in should mode, let this be your permission slip to take a step back and ask a different question. Not what do the experts say, but what do I know about my business, my audience, and my goals, and what decision makes sense given all of that? You might land on a totally conventional strategy, and that's cool. That's totally fine. Convention works for a reason. You might also find that some of those rules that you've been following were never actually serving you. And when you find those things, then you can just let them go. Maybe social media is not for you. Maybe a blog is not for you. That's okay. Run your business strategically, run it intentionally, run it profitably, and run it like the CEO that you are. That is my message to you. Now, inside of the Crochetpreneur Business Academy this week, I talked about a strategy that is not really used in the crochet world, but I've been using it in my other business and have been just loving it. And I was like, what if we use this inside the crochet industry? What if we stepped out of the norm and we started doing this other thing that's sort of against the rules? So I shared a class called Substack for Crochetpreneurs. So Substack for Crochetpreneurs is a workshop. We have a replay available, and I'm making it available to you if you're not in the Crochetpreneur Business Academy. If you've been wanting to dig deeper into building a crochet business, maybe against the grain of what everyone else is doing, you might want to take a look at Substack. I share how I use it, why I chose it, and how it can work as both a community platform and a revenue stream for crochet business owners. I did this live class inside the Crochetpreneur Business Academy, and I'm making it available now to the public. So if you're in CBA, it's already been uploaded into your class portal, and you can find the replay there. If not, you can head to the link in the show notes and grab the workshop and watch it in your own time. There's a link down below. So whether you're Substack curious or you're already on the platform, I think you'll find it really valuable to explore a new way of sharing who you are, sharing what you're doing in your business, and also building your email lists, sending out a newsletter, having a platform to write, having a platform to share your links, having a platform to go live, to run a podcast, and also to build a membership or have some sort of recurring revenue, all inside that one platform. So after the class, here are some things that my CBA members said after taking this class. I need to make this bigger so I can actually see it. I blocked out names because I didn't ask for permission to share their names, but I've been playing around with Substack this week, and I'm absolutely amazed at how I feel at home there. Thank you so much for introducing us to this last Tuesday. Since I started creating there, my thoughts, feelings have been literally flowing through my fingers to the pages. What a rush. I would love if you would all come visit me there. I enjoyed today's monthly workshop, Substack for Crochetpreneurs. I really like that you help keep us updated on new things and opportunities. I just want to say this class was amazing, and I have a new obsession I now want to ignore everything else for. So, and your class today was amazing. Thanks for the intro to the stack. I'm really looking forward to trying it out. I'm joining you as a newbie. That's awesome. So they had a lot of fun in the class, learned a lot of things, and some of them have really found a home on Substack. So it's a totally different vibe than you might already be getting in your regular social media. If you're feeling like social media is not the place for you, you might find a home on Substack. You might want to check it out. Again, the link to that workshop is down below. And then I also wanted to let you know that the Crochet Sellers Summit is coming up in July 15th through 17th, if you're watching this live, 2026. This is our first year launching a summit specifically for crochet sellers. As you know, just like the crochet industry has its own unique quirks and eccentricities, it's the same with selling crochet. At the Crochet Business Summit, we serve both sellers and designers, but this summit is going to address topics unique to sellers. If you're a physical product seller or you're thinking about starting a crochet business, this free event is for you. If you're watching here live, registration isn't open yet, but the waitlist is, and you can go get on the waitlist by going to crochetsellerssummit.com. And you can just fill out the little waitlist and get on the waitlist so you can be the first to register, because early registrants will get some pre-summit workshops and sessions totally for free inside of our Summit Facebook group. So go to the link in the show notes, add your name to the waitlist, and I can't wait to share more details. We're solidifying our speaker lineup right now, and I'll get to share more with that with you very soon. All right. So thank you for being here. Links for both of those things are in the show notes, so go snag those. And thanks for spending time with me today. I will come answer any questions that you might have. If this episode resonated with you, share it with your crochet business friends who've been stuck in should mode. They may need to hear this. So many people are so good at the should mode that it takes a little nudge to get them out of it and get them feeling confident in themselves enough to answer the questions and take new actions. So run your business strategically, intentionally, and like the CEO that you are, and I'll see you in the next episode. But I'm going to come back and answer your questions now. So I'm going to put this away. Now I'm back. Okay. Let me pull up, your comments. All right. Wow, I need new glasses. You might see me squinting because everything's blurry. Beverly said I should myself all the time. It's a problem. There's nothing saying you can't do more than one of the above. Yes. I usually sell my craft shows and on my Facebook page. I'm excited about Substack. The class is great. Awesome. Thank you. Ginger said, have a great day. Thanks for doing this. This is what I needed. Awesome. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about sort of what it takes to get to a place of making your own decisions, running your business on your own terms, breaking the rules because you know the rules? If you don't have a question, that's totally fine. I will be back throughout the week to answer any questions in the comments if you're watching this on replay. Yeah, in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. I know lots of kids are ending their school year this week, next week, coming up. So I hope all of you are managing that stress and taking care of yourselves. And I hope you have a wonderful summer. And I'll be back next week with another Crochet Business Chat podcast episode. Thanks for being here. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.